Walt Disney World Marathon 2023 has concluded a while ago, and I'm going to talk to you about what I thought about the race and show you what I got. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Lindsay, aka SwishWilly, and I talk about all things Disney. So if you're into that sort of thing, please make sure you hit subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Today we are talking about the Walt Disney World Marathon of 2023, which happened a couple of weeks ago, maybe a few weeks ago. I'm a little behind on this video, so I do apologize, but I'm going to be talking to you guys about my thoughts on the race, my thoughts on the expo, as well as what I bought at the expo, because you know, your girl loves some merchandise. So I guess we might as well just start in chronological order. So let's start with the expo. So most of you already know that the Run Disney Expo from Wine and Dine weekend was in virtual queue for the Run Disney merchandise. And the same thing happened for the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend, and to be quite honest, I don't mind this virtual queue system. I might be biased because randomly for both Wine and Dine and the marathon weekend, I got group 2. So I lucked out big time on that. So everyone's experience might have been different, but mine was pretty good. All the merchandise was there when I got there. Mind you, again, I was group 2. So I personally like it a little bit better, but there are things that I noticed because of the virtual queue. Now let's take note that the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend has an insane amount of runners, and it is the biggest race weekend for Run Disney all year. So you know you're going to have a higher volume of people. And because they had the virtual queue system and everyone had to go at their called time, they had to kill time elsewhere. So I did notice that the lines for shirt pickup and bib pickup were a bit longer, well, a lot longer looks wise, and the expo floor seemed to be a bit busier than normal right off the gate. Now, okay, so let's talk about the length of the lines for bib pickup. When you looked at the line, it looked insane. If this was an attraction line, you would think that it was hours and hours long. We were all the way down by the baseball field and around it, and it still probably only took us about 18 to 20 minutes to actually get inside. And by the time we were inside to get our bibs, it took no time at all. I had maybe 3 people ahead of me to pick up my marathon bibs. So it wasn't that bad. I feel like it was very daunting to look at, and I heard some people saying that it was hours long. I didn't experience that. I went on the very first day and it was maybe 20 minutes, and 20 minutes out of my day when I already expected to be at the expo for hours really didn't mean anything to me. But that's my own humble opinion. That was my personal experience. Other people may have seen worse things, but not me. Now, after bib pickup, it was time to go to the expo floor and go grab my shirts. And again, I had nobody in front of me. Like, nobody. It was in and out to grab my t-shirts. So I didn't see what some people were claiming to have seen. So if you were one of those people that got affected negatively in terms of the length of the bib pickup or the shirt pickup, please comment down below and let me know what your experience was, because again, I can only speak on mine. Now, if you're a Run Disney vet and you kind of know the ins and outs of getting an ESPN plastic reusable cup, you know that basically you get a discounted alcoholic beverage at the end of the race, or anytime you go to the expo if you bring that cup with you. This year's was like this pink lemonade beer, which was actually quite good. However, I was so tired after the marathon that I did not stop and get one. I wish I had, but I didn't, so that's neither here nor there. Now, for the Run Disney merchandise, I thought they had an incredible variety, and there was very few things that I was like, that's ugly. Very, very few things. And some things, okay, actually let me clarify. I didn't think anything was ugly, just things were not my style. But that's okay, because I still managed to get a bunch of stuff anyway. So the merchandise itself, super well executed. I think they did a great job with their designs this year. I think they had something for everybody. The Goofy Challenge merchandise in particular, they usually kind of get sidelined. They don't get a lot of merch, and was really annoying for me last year at the Goofy Challenge because I had a men's t-shirt as an option and I didn't want that. So I ended up not getting any Goofy Challenge merch, which kind of sucked. But whatever, it is what it is. But this year, Goofy Challenge people and Dopey Challenge folk really lucked out in terms of what they had available to them in the Goofy Challenge. So props to them. They had ample merchandise for all of the races, ample merchandise for the entire race weekend. One thing that I noticed that I was so disappointed in was that once again I was foiled, and the Magic Band that was released was not a Magic Band Plus, nor was it in a collector's box like they used to be. This was just your classic strip one, plastic cardboard. This cardboard strip that had the Magic Band on it and said limited release. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like if it's not in a box, it doesn't feel as valuable. I don't know if that's just me. I don't know. But I could have gotten around that had they had a Magic Band Plus, but it was the old style on a cardboard backing. So I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed. So needless to say, that it's not something I purchased. I'm sure lots of people still got it because it was a very cute design, but it didn't feel as like special as they have in the past, if that makes any kind of sense. And I do apologize. It was so incredibly busy at the expo that I didn't feel like I could film. For me, because I was group 2, there were a lot of people in there, and for me to take out my camera and start filming, I felt like I was just going to be in a lot of people's way, especially when it came to certain things like the white spirit jerseys. So there were 2 spirit jerseys this time around. One was black with blue sleeves. I think they should have done a little bit more color blocking because there were so many colors in the design that the full weekend one was just 2 colors, which was strange to me. They really should have picked up on those pinks and yellows, but that's just my humble opinion. A lot of people did like that spirit jersey. I know my friend got one. It just personally wasn't up my alley, but they did have 2 versions, so there's that. I think before I show you guys what I got at the expo, let's talk about the race itself. Now, I only did the marathon, so I cannot speak on any other races. So again, if you had experiences during races that you want to chit chat about, for sure, leave comments below and we can have a little chit chat. But we're going to talk about simply the marathon. If you have done the marathon before, the course didn't change all that much, but there are some things. One particular thing to note that I actually really liked, and I guess the reason why I liked is because I've done the course before, so having a bit of a switch up was kind of nice. So instead of running through from Liberty Square into Frontierland and out, what happened was you ran from Liberty Square in between the bathrooms that separate Adventureland and Frontierland, and you crossed right in through there and ran past Pirates of the Caribbean, whereas before you would run past Splash Mountain. The cool thing here is that there was a character stop for Jack Sparrow right outside of the ride. There was like nobody in that line, so I jumped in. That was the only character stop that I stopped for, just because I'm a firm believer for my own personal good, I need to keep going, and the least amount of times I stop, the better, because it's gonna take a lot more effort for me to start up again. One of the really nice things though about this marathon course is by the time you leave Magic Kingdom and start running by the golf courses, you're almost halfway done. And when you think about that, you still have 3 more parks to get to. If you use parks as your checkpoints, you're looking pretty good. The longest part for me though is that part where you leave Magic Kingdom and you're on your way to Animal Kingdom. It's a lot of highway miles. They do a really good job at bringing out characters and music and all that stuff. It's just a lot of running with nothing scenic, if you will. And when you're coming into Animal Kingdom, there's a part where you're seeing everyone who's leaving Animal Kingdom. So if you're not the fastest runner, or even if you are a fast runner but you just don't really know where particular you are in the race in terms of everyone else, it kind of gives me, at least, a little bit of anxiety going, oh my god, there's so many people in front of me. But then, that being said, when you're coming out and you're on the opposite end of that side where you are the ones leaving and there's still people coming in, you're like, okay, I think I'm pretty good. So entering Animal Kingdom puts you kind of on high alert. However, this came at the perfect time in the race for me. So this time I had a rough idea as to where I was in the race. So I felt a little bit better, but I needed an extra adrenaline boost. So you better believe that I was one of those lovely runners that may have jumped you in line with the single riders to get on Expedition Everest. I do apologize if I skipped ahead of you because that's how cast members were like getting us through, but I will say that I really, really, really needed it. And if the girl who I sat with who was also running is watching this, hi, it was lovely to meet you. Getting off of Expedition Everest, it was such a surreal experience because you already have adrenaline from running, but you're exhausted. So when you get on a roller coaster and then get off, you're like, okay, I'm ready to go. So that was brilliant. Well done, Disney, well done. Now we're on our way out of Animal Kingdom and coming down. So around mile 21-ish is, in my opinion, the absolute worst part of the race. I hated every second of this, was running in the Blizzard Beach parking lot. Not Blizzard Beach, the parking lot. I felt like I was doing elementary school gym class where you run the perimeter of the schoolyard, and I didn't like it. So it's awful. It is awful. You literally run into Blizzard Beach, run around the edge of the parking lot and out. Now I know they need to give you mileage, but there's got to be something better than that. There has to be. Now I'm not a race course planner, so I don't really know every single bit that goes into planning those, so I will not poo-poo it completely, but running it sucks. It's absolutely god-awful, but it is what it is. I was a big fan of the ESPN Wide World of Sports part of the marathon back in 2018, which a lot of people loathed. I took it as a game because you see like mile marker, like, I don't know the exact ones, but let's say you run in at mile 14, but you see it's like mile 17 down over there and you have no idea where the other mile markers are. It was kind of like a game of chase where you're like, where's the next one? So I preferred that well over this Blizzard Beach thing. I don't understand it. It'd be one thing if we got to go into Blizzard Beach, but alas we did not. So Disney, if you're listening, please figure that one out because it's awful. It is just awful. Now, aside from that, there's only one other smidgen of the course that I would change. That is when you get into Hollywood Studios, you're in there for like a blink of an eye. It is crazy. So you run backstage, you come in by Tower of Terror, you run down Sunset, but not all the way down Sunset. You kind of veer off. So you don't unfortunately get to run down Hollywood Boulevard, and you go backstage and then down by the Skyliner and off you go down the boardwalk to Epcot to finish up the race. I just want a little bit more time in Hollywood Studios. That is my personal favorite park. That and Epcot are my top two parks, but I just want a little bit more time. It's at least let me go all the way down Sunset and turn onto Hollywood Boulevard. That's all I want. I understand though, the park is open, you can't really have runners going out through the entrance, but we can like duck out the way that we did for Wine and Dine. So if you can do it in Wine and Dine, I'm not quite sure how come we can't in the marathon. But I don't know, there's gotta be a reason. There has to be a reason, but I have no idea what it is. On the way from Hollywood Studios to Epcot, you obviously go through the boardwalk. So this part does bottleneck a little bit, but depending on where you are in the race, you might be okay and just have a comfortable grouping of people. I was comfortable. I didn't feel like we were kind of squeezed like this. There are definitely other pace groups that are significantly more congested than the one that I was in. So I could see that potentially being a little bit annoying. We were very, very lucky that it didn't rain that day because the boardwalk can get very, very slippery when it's wet. That's what happened to me at Wine and Dine. It was super wet and I was not gonna have it. I was not gonna risk my safety and potentially injure myself for the sake of running on wet wood. It's not a good idea. Now, once you get into Epcot, you know you're literally on the final miles and it feels amazing. You just feel like you are invincible, yet exhausted. The one thing that I do regret that I did not do was either get a beer or a margarita on the course. So I have made a pact with my sister that when we do the race next year, granted beginning and registration is not complete chaos again, but if we both get in, we are going to, whoever finishes first has to go and get the drinks and meet everybody else at a checkpoint. So next year we got it covered. This year I ran it alone, so there's that. So the end of the race came and went as it does. We had the gospel choir, which was amazing. I love when they come in because you're like, you know what, I am done. So that part's great. Also, just their flow at the very end. You cross the finish line, they give you the wet neck towel, they give you your medal, you go grab bananas, you get your rice box, you get your Powerade and your water. I will say though, I had one volunteer that was a little irked by me because I didn't drink my water right away, and she made me stop, open my water, and she said the reason why we give you this water is for you to drink it now, not for you to keep walking. So she made me open it and drink it in front of her. So I thought it was just really good. You know what? Safety first, my friends. So she had all of my best interests in her head. So thank you, volunteer. I wish I got your name, but I appreciate you forcing me to drink that water. I finished the race in a slower pace than I wanted to. I feel like that's a lot of people, and I need to always tell myself that the Run Disney races are not the races that you want to PR in because there's just so much going on. But I am my own worst enemy, and I always want to outdo what I have done in the past. So this year I did not do that. My shoes are now retired. I think that I had too much mileage on these shoes and not enough stability in the ankle anymore because by mile 6, my ankles were hurt. So, you live and learn. So I'm going in the next couple of weeks to go get fitted again, see what shoe works best for me. Okay, so now let's just get to the fun stuff and let's start talking about everything I bought at the expo. First up, this is something that I never buy at the Run Disney events because I've never actually liked the ones in the past. But this year's ears were awesome. They were so cute, so I had to buy them. So here they are. Here you go. Is it gonna focus? Hopefully, there we go. It's just so cute, and it's embroidered here. This is all like on the fabric. So it's not screened, it's just the fabric itself. But this is all embroidered, which is super, super nice. Over here, really cute. I mean, how can you beat that? They're just so cute. And on the back here, you have the park icons. So you do run through all 4 parks this race weekend. And on the side here, it says Run Disney. I don't know if there's a little focus on here. Let me try this. There we go, Run Disney. And over here in the hot pink, it has the year, which is, there we go, focused. Super cute. So I suppose I could just put these on for the remainder of the merchandise. I probably should start with this one actually because this is free. Well, free in terms of I paid for it in my registration, but this was the race shirt that they gave out for the marathon this year. So very fitting, very true to the theme, very 90s. Speaking of 90s, literally all of the music on the course was 90s and I was living for it. For like the first mile, they had like 4 screens that were showing Mighty Ducks. So I was like, this is fantastic. Oh, God, I love Mighty Ducks. But anyway, so this is what it looks like here. The back has all the sponsors on it. So State Farm has taken over for Cigna. So we have the Run Disney logo and the Walt Disney World 50th because it's technically still the 50th anniversary running. So running by, not like running, I meant it's still going on. Now I got a tank top, and the new tank top cut for women is so flattering. I'm obsessed with it. It's high neck. They had them at Wine and Dine as well, and I bought both of them that were available for us there. This time I only got the marathon one. They had one for the whole weekend. I didn't really like the color of the full marathon weekend one, but this was the marathon one. Super cute. The back, it's nice because it's not, it's a wider racer back. It's not like this, it's more wide, so it just feels really nice. And the way where it cuts here is really nice. Just everything about it is great. So I love these ones. I picked it up right away. I didn't even hesitate on this one. And you can ask, so I went to the expo with Nick at Magical News Live, and you can ask him how I'm always like, nah, I don't know if I should get this. I was like that the whole time. So this was not one of those things that I was questionable about. My next up is the I Did It shirt for the marathon, and I'm going to say a very honest comment where I have literally never worn my I Did It shirt from any race. Like, I've never worn them, but this was one of the ones that I'm like, oh, should I get it? Should I not? Because I'm like, I don't wear them. But Nip convinced me and said, are you going to regret not buying it? And I probably would. So I did buy it because it is really cute, and I probably will wear this one because I love the colors. I love the pink sleeve. This blue made my life. I love this color so much. Like, I lucked out on the marathon colors big time. And there's on the back, this is the finisher. So cute. Now, this is like, these are one of those things where you're like, do I buy this or not? Because who knows if I am actually going to finish it or not. So it always feels like you're kind of doing it and it might give you bad luck, but so far so good. I've always finished, so that's the good thing. So this one, I took the tags off of most of this stuff. This was $44.99. So I told you about the spirit jersey thing, how there were two of them. I got the white one, and the white one was hooded. So I thought that was actually really cool because it's not often you see a hooded spirit jersey. So this one is the white, and it has the characters like this, and it's that, like, if you are an 80s or 90s kid, or even an adult that was in the 80s or 90s, if you lived in the 80s and 90s, you know that like puffy rubber feeling. That's what this is. It's like that really puffy rubber, and I love every second of it. So you have this across the front. Along the sleeve, you have the Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend logo. And then on the back, because this was an anniversary year for both the marathon and the Dopey Challenge, it says, oh, sorry. This one says 30 years running. So very, very cute. Very cute. Now the only downfall with this is that because it's hooded, if you're not wearing the hood kind of blocks what it says on the back. That didn't bother me too much, but I know it bothered some people, which is why they didn't get it. But this was probably like the hottest commodity in the whole marathon besides pins. And yeah, wild. I did buy the pins, and then I realized, you know what, I don't actually want them because they just sit in a box. I never look at them again, so I ended up reselling them at like what I paid for them to someone who missed out on them. So luckily, that was good. So the final thing I got was the race mug, and the reason why I held this for last is because there's something very funny about this one. So it's awesome, right? Black Marathon Weekend, has all the characters on it. It's beautiful. It says 30 years running in there. Awesome, awesome mug. Now, this is where it kind of gets funny, and I feel like this is going to be a collector's item because of this, but not that it already isn't, but you know what I mean. So here you have the, let's see, can this focus? Is it going to focus? Here, well, you have the race, the park icons. There we go. Whoop, and it lost it again. There we go. Okay, so Tower of Terror, right? Animal Kingdom, doo-doo-doo. You have Spaceship Earth. They forgot to print the castle. There's no castle on here. So let's see. On here, that's the logo's not on there. Hang on. Here. So the castle is supposed to be on top here, right? It's supposed to have the four like that. Not on this. But I will say I love this mug still. I actually love it even more that it has this little error on it. But yeah, so this one was $19.99 and it is dishwasher friendly, folks. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was like a super like speedy recap on the expo and the race, but at least you got to see the merchandise, because who doesn't like a good haul? So thanks again for watching. If you are not already, please make sure you hit subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't want to miss any of my videos. There's more Run Disney events coming up. The new year is in. We have race registrations coming up, so get ready for me to fill you in on all those race registration stuff. Make sure you stay tuned and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have an awesome day!